Piccolo, one of the most popular and well-loved characters in Dragon Ball, and one of Goku's greatest rivals and allies. His character arc and dynamics are a major fan-favorite part of the series, and with that, he, like numerous other characters, is a direct mirror to Goku in numerous ways. And just for clarification, this video will be covering Kami, King Piccolo, and the Nameless Namekian here too. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. Viewers are first introduced to Piccolo as the great demon king who rampaged and tried taking over the world in the distant past, who is now returned with his clan killing Krillin. At first, the similarities between Goku and Piccolo are not very prevalent. It isn't until Goku kills the Demon King and the birth of Piccolo Jr. that any similarities can really be seen between them, with Piccolo now growing up and living alone in the forest for years after the death of his father, not unlike how Goku had grown up alone in the mountains following Grandpa Gohan's death, which, interestingly enough, Goku was the one who killed both of them, and in both moments the Oozaru was involved in some way, with Goku losing control as an Oozaru, which caused him to accidentally crush Grandpa Gohan, and Goku channeling the power of the Oozaru from within to defeat King Piccolo. After this, the similarity starts slowly becoming more apparent between the two during the next few arcs, starting at the reveal and introduction of Kami, where we found out that King Piccolo was created after Kami had purged the evil from within himself to attain the position of Kami. Now, at first, this does not seem to bring any connections to Goku, and it doesn't until the beginning of the Saiyan arc, where we found out Goku's origin as a Saiyan. It's revealed to the viewer that Goku as a young child was a violent and angry creature until he hit his head, which, like Kami purging himself of the evil within, this purged Goku of his aggressive and violent behavior. Though, like how Kami's evil still existed as Piccolo, Goku's evil still existed within the Oozaru, which was essentially a manifestation of his Saiyan instincts. Both of them shared the storyline of dealing with a dual nature, a good half and an evil half, a human half and a Saiyan half. And they both have conflict reconciling the two of them together, with their respective culminations being Goku's accepting his Saiyan heritage on Namek and gaining control of the Super Saiyan against Frieza, and with Kami and Piccolo rejoining into one body during the Cell arc. The fact that Kami offered Goku his position as the God of Earth is further proof. Goku, as he was now, embodied every trait that would make one suitable for Kami's position, adding to the similarity. Add in the fact that, like Goku, Piccolo is also revealed to be an alien sent to Earth at a young age and just narrowly escaped the destruction of his people.
And like Goku, Kami too hit his head as a child, which caused him to lose his memory.
And both of these reveals happen in the exact same arc, so that's more than likely an intentional similarity between the two of them. And then we can go on to Piccolo's dynamic with Gohan. After Goku's first death, Piccolo took Gohan and left him in the forest for 6 months to test whether or not he could survive for his training. Piccolo's leaving Gohan in the woods was not a random choice. He tested Gohan's ability by putting him in the same situation he, and unknown to Piccolo, Goku, grew up in. In their short time together, Gohan ends up bringing out good from Piccolo and causes him to change into a better person, not unlike that of Goku's relationship with Grandpa Go. If it wasn't for Gohan's taking Goku in, he never would have ended up becoming the person he became. And we find out that, like Goku and Piccolo, Kami did spend his childhood alone and isolated for years as well. Though, unlike Goku, he never had a kind man to teach him like Grandpa Gohan did. Which leads us perfectly into the next part, where now we can go on into acknowledging more of the differences between the two of them, starting with their origin. The most obvious thing to point out is that Goku came from a race of barbaric destroyers and was a naturally violent and destructive being. But on Earth, because of Grandpa Gohan, Goku ended up learning and experiencing the good humanity had after he hit his head. So he grew up into the kind man that he became. While Piccolo came from a species of kind and enlightened people, and was rather peaceful by nature, but upon coming to Earth, he had become tainted by the evils of humanity, which he then purged from his body to become God. Goku, upon coming to Earth, had the evil purged from him and learned the good of humanity, whereas Kami came to Earth and learned the worst of humanity, and he then had to purge this evil from himself. The next part is an interesting one. How they arrived on Earth. Upon the reveal of Goku's Saiyan heritage, we learned he was an infiltration baby sent to Earth for the purpose of wiping it out, while Piccolo was sent to Earth by his father with the intent of saving him from the cataclysm that wiped out the majority of Namekians, which immediately creates a contrast between the two of them, and adds to the irony with the Destroyer becoming a protector, and the peaceful one becoming a destroyer. With Dragon Ball Minus in the Broly movie, however, Goku's reasoning for being on Earth is retconned to him being sent there by his father to save him from the impending destruction of their home planet, with his brother Raditz merely misunderstanding what was going on and assuming Goku to be on a mission, which actually adds to the similarities shared between the two of them, but I'll get onto that in a second. And this leads us into the next set of similarities and differences that I'd like to discuss: their fathers. In the original TV special, Bardock, who who did not care about his son, nor did he send Goku away, sees a vision of the future of Goku eventually fighting Frieza as an adult, and then charges him with avenging him and the entire Saiyan race as they're being destroyed, which is actually something that King Piccolo also charged his son with doing to Goku, to avenge both him and their fallen clan. Though in the end, the irony is that Goku never knew he was charged with this, and never specifically cared about avenging Bardock, nor did he even know who he was. Whereas Piccolo defined himself for years by this goal of avenging his father and living up to his goals, which was something he never really managed to do. His killing of Goku in the Saiyan saga was not something he could ever actually savor due to the arrival of the Saiyans and his subsequent turn away from evil. But with Minus, both Goku and Kami are sent away to survive by their fathers. Goku is given no such goal of avenging the Saiyans, and his only objective was to merely survive. And for the longest period of time, Goku didn't even know that about his father, which directly contrasts how Piccolo defined himself by this. So with the original version from the TV special, Bardock and Goku are more similar to King Piccolo and Piccolo Jr., whereas with Minus, they're more similar to Katas and the Nameless Namekian. By the end of the Saiyan arc, both of them start following a very similar arc, though Piccolo's takes a bit longer. Goku and Piccolo both reject the ways of the people they were born to,
with Goku rejecting the ways of the Saiyans and Piccolo quitting the Demon Clan,
due to the time they spent with someone named Gohan. Even looking at the end of the Saiyan arc where Piccolo sacrifices his life for Gohan is similar to how Goku saved Piccolo at the end of the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, almost as if Piccolo is repaying that debt.
And literally as he's dying, Piccolo himself directly says to Gohan that he blames Goku and Gohan's influence for him doing this, acknowledging that he's becoming like Goku and Gohan.
With them standing in the way of an attack that was meant to hit the son of their previous enemy, from beings that are technically that enemy's kin, with Nappa being a Saiyan like Goku and Gohan, and Kami and Piccolo being two halves of the same being. And there is also their reconciling of their two sides of themselves later. Goku struggling and denying his Saiyan heritage was something he struggled with during the Saiyan and Namek sagas, but he eventually accepts it, where he proudly proclaims he is the Super Saiyan Son Goku. Piccolo, of course, has a much more literal example with his life linked to Kami. As the two of them are literally two halves of the same being, they have a very similar denial and eventual reconciliation. During the Cell arc, after the androids defeat the Z-Fighters, Piccolo and Kami eventually reconcile their differences and fuse back into the single being, where they now proclaim themselves to once again be the Nameless Namekian who had forgotten his name. Though, he still goes by Piccolo for simplicity's sake, which also granted him a large boost in power. And at this point, Piccolo now has a similar martial artist mentality and demeanor to Goku, with him now being a much wiser figure who acts as a mentor for Dende, not unlike how Goku at this point also acted as a mentor for Gohan and then later the other kids like Goten and Trunks. And that really brings Piccolo to the spot he's basically maintained ever since. Now he and Goku still have different demeanors, but they've remained close friends and have been on the same page pretty much every time, with Piccolo even getting his own Pride of his Race form with Orange Piccolo and Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Which goes on to add another similarity between Piccolo and Goku. Which is pretty much all I got for this one. This is my first upload in a few months. I never plan on not uploading for that long ever again. This will mark the start of a new chain of uploads and shorts for this foreseeable future. I can't wait to start uploading them because I'm pretty satisfied with how these have turned out. Now, if you liked what I had to say here, please do me a favor by liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, and following me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. There'll be more videos coming soon. Thank you, and have a nice day.